Imagine waking up one day and your home, your land, your entire history has been erased from the map. And the leaders you trusted to uphold international law, they look the other way. That's the reality Palestinians have lived with for generations. And in this world of silence, one voice has dared to stand out. French President Emmanuel Macron. Unlike most Western leaders, Macron openly opposes forced evacuation of Gaza and the so-called trusteeship plans. He says no, while others nod along. But this fight didn't start today. Back in 1948, the United Nations passed Resolution 194. It clearly said, every Palestinian refugee has the right to return to their home, or at least receive compensation. Even the United States signed it. And yet, with each decade, Washington shifted further away, treating Palestinian rights not as law, but as an obstacle. Go back even further to 1947, the UN Headquarters Host Agreement. The U.S. promised it would always allow invited representatives into the country. But decades later, Reagan and Trump broke that promise. Palestinian leaders were blocked from speaking at the UN, and Trump went further cutting UN funding, shaking the foundation of the very system America helped build. But the world pushed back. In 1988, the U.S. refused a visa for Yasser Arafat. What happened next? The UN General Assembly packed up and moved its entire session from New York to Geneva. For the first time, the U.S. was shown it could be bypassed. It was a powerful reminder. No country, no matter how powerful, can silence the truth forever. That same year, Algeria and dozens of non-aligned countries recognized Palestine. It was a shockwave. Fast forward to 2014, Sweden became the first EU nation to follow. And today, 147 countries recognize Palestine as a state. The pressure on the holdouts, the UK, France, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, is growing. Each recognition is more than symbolic. It is a strike against decades of erasure. And what about the refugees themselves? UNRWA, the UN's relief agency, keeps their records. Over 7 million Palestinians, 7 million names, 7 million stories. Israel and the U.S. want UNRWA gone because those records are proof. Proof that the right of return is real, legal, undeniable. To destroy UNRWA would be to destroy the evidence of history. But the evidence of another crime is now undeniable. Leading genocide scholars studied Gaza and came to a chilling conclusion. Israel meets all 5 criteria of genocide under international law. Entire families wiped out. Children buried in rubble. Hospitals, schools, cultural life obliterated. Even the words of Israeli leaders themselves, dripping with intent to annihilate, stand as written proof. This isn't politics. This isn't rhetoric. This is reality. Documented, recorded, remembered. Pause, softer tone. And before I continue with the shocking revelations about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and the hidden plans to erase Gaza forever, I need you to do one thing. If you believe truth should be louder than propaganda, if you believe silenced voices deserve to be heard, then hit subscribe right now. Don't wait. Because every new subscriber makes this story harder to bury. Stand with truth. Subscribe. When you connect the dots, a far darker truth begins to emerge. The attacks on Gaza, the push to dismantle UNRWA, and the endless vetoes at the UN. None of this is random. It's a strategy. A deliberate attempt to erase the right of return, to empty Gaza, and to reshape the land into something unrecognizable. The Trump years made this painfully clear. Washington cut off UN funding. It blocked Palestinian diplomats. It moved the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem, declaring it Israel's capital. All packaged as the so-called deal of the century. But behind the branding, it was nothing more than legalized theft. And then came the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF. On paper, a charity. In reality, allegedly a front. A tool to depopulate Gaza. Families desperate to survive would be pressured to leave. And once they were gone, the land would be redeveloped. The rubble of Palestinian homes replaced with luxury resorts and shining condos. Plans whispered with names like Trump Rivera. Imagine that turning the ashes of a people into beachfront property. For Palestinians, this is not politics. It is erasure in real time. Picture your grandparents' home bulldozed, your family's history paved over with shopping malls, all while the world is told it's for peace. That is not peace. That is profiteering from ethnic cleansing. But despite this cruelty, history is shifting. As of 2024, 147 nations recognize Palestine, and momentum is building in places once unthinkable: London, Paris, Ottawa, Canberra, Wellington. Each recognition weakens the wall of denial. Each step says, Palestine exists. Palestine matters. And the accusations against Israel grow louder. The International Association of Genocide Scholars, respected experts on mass atrocity, have declared what many feared. Israel's actions in Gaza are genocide. Not metaphorical, not exaggerated. Legal genocide, meeting all 5 criteria. Mass killing of children, destruction of families, erasure of culture, systematic assault on hospitals, schools, and homes. And perhaps most damning, the words of Israeli leaders themselves, calling for annihilation, talking of erasing Gaza, words that history will never forget. This is changing global politics. If America continues to block justice, the world may one day do what it did in 1988, move around it. Relocate sessions outside New York. Create new forums. Leave the U.S. behind. A shift like that would mark the decline of Washington's grip on the international order it once built. And so today we stand at a crossroads. Gaza lies in ruins. Families cling to survival. But globally, Palestine has never been more recognized, more documented, more defended. The story is no longer controlled by a handful of powerful states. It is being written by the global majority. Pause, softer tone. And now I want to hear from you. Do you believe the world is finally ready to stand up for Palestine? Do you think the recognition of 147 nations can outweigh the veto of a single superpower? Or do you fear that projects like the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation will succeed before justice can arrive? Music swells, urgent tone. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't stay silent, because silence is the ally of oppression. But conversation is resistance. Add your voice. Be heard.